Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sagebrush Happy Hour journal entry for May 8th, 2025. So we've had a couple, 3 days of rain. Basically, Monday and Tuesday, it rained constantly, and a little bit yesterday, and a couple showers today. And so, as a result, we have two 3,000-gallon steel cisterns that are buried underground, and that's where the gutters from our roof drain into. And so we collect water from our roof, and we're approximately about 2,000 square feet of roof that collects water. And so over that 2 day period, we added 3,000 gallons, 3,000 and a couple hundred, maybe 3,200 gallons of water to our cisterns. And so I posted about that, and I got a couple questions about how do we measure our water. And so the way we had done this before is I just had our cisterns are basically 8 feet deep each, from the lid to the bottom of them. And so I had a 10-foot piece of metal pipe that I marked foot markers on, and then I would dip that in the water, and wherever the water line was, I would calculate from the feet how many gallons I had. And so that's all good, and that's the cheap way to do it, and that's the way a lot of people do it. And then I was wanting to automate that and integrate it into my smart home, integration. And so I wanted to make sure that I could maybe read my water levels via Wi-Fi and then integrate that into my home assistant and be able to monitor that inside and visually. And so I looked into some commercial solutions for doing that, and there's a couple out there, and they range from $300 to $700, depending on how the level meter works. And of course, with two cisterns and that sort of thing, that would have been kind of too expensive for what I wanted to pay. And so I did a little bit of Googling and found a couple ways to do a custom circuit to measure the depth of the water in the cisterns. And the first method involves a ultrasonic transmitter. And so you'd basically put a transmitter on the lid of the cistern, and it bounces sound waves off the water surface, and it measures that time differential and basically gives you a distance between the lid and the water level. In my case, the way that the lid and the entrance to the cistern is that wasn't really a viable way to do that. And then the other way that they do that is with using a pressure transducer. And so you sink a pressure transducer down to the bottom of your cistern, and it reads the water pressure. And so, of course, as the water gets more and more full, the water pressure increases. And so basically, you take that transducer and you do some voltage translation, and then it goes into a chip, which is called the ESP32 chip. And ESP32 is basically a microcomputer. It's kind of the chip that's in all the smart plugs and a lot of the smart switches and integrations like that. And so there was a post online on how to integrate that pressure transducer with ESP32 chip, which in turn talks via Wi-Fi to my Home Assistant, and so that gives me my data that I need. And there's a little bit of code, and and you figuring out, with the water pressure to the actual gallons, but so there was some math involved and a little bit of coding, but that's all done, and that's a great little integration. And I'm going to post a more in-depth YouTube video at some point about how to do that. So that's what's happening here on the Mesa today. PD's wanting to go out, and I wish to give you guys all a big New Mexico cheer.